I've seen a lot of coverage of a newly released paid Bard expansion mod, so I just want to clarify straight away that all of the mods covered in this video are 100% free and console compatible. To create an authentic Bard experience, I have some mods that are going to create a more immersive atmosphere when playing to crowds, and the college questline is going to be greatly expanded. I've also included some mods that focus on improving the feeling of playing as a bard in combat, trying to reflect the Dungeons & Dragons class in particular where possible. But first things first. So to start with, we have some mods that are going to beef up the bardic quests available to you. It's pretty commonly cited that the Bard's College is the weakest faction in the game, with a small questline that seems to have very little to do with actually being a bard. But the mod Bards Reborn is going to fix that for us, adding in a new set of quests where you need to complete exams, attend classes, and practice your performing abilities to progress in the college. It does a much better job of making it feel like you're actually in a college, and you're gaining knowledge that would actually assist you in becoming a bard. Your character will learn about reciting verses from history and general tips for surviving the world of music.
Little survival tip, bud. Never play your guitar in front of a man with a loaded gun.
There are also some new books added that are filled with info, and in particular I really like the books covering the creation and maintenance of the various musical instruments found throughout the game. The appearance of the college is also improved, with some museum displays set up with plaques detailing information about the instruments shown, most of which have really unusual and unique designs. The mod also adds in the ability to craft your own instruments, and you can even craft a special version of the lute which you wear on your back. Once you've done the new quests, you will still be able to play the vanilla quests as normal, along with our next mod, Collecting the Edda, which restores a cut quest that was originally supposed to be featured in the game. After the burning of King Olaf, you will be tasked to travel around Skyrim, speaking to all the different bards you can find to collect the verses of the Edda, and take them back to the college for rewards. It's a pretty good way to end the questline, because it basically prompts you to go on a musical tour of Skyrim once you're a fully fledged bard, and meeting all the other performers around as you develop your skills more. We also have the mod Bard Excavation, which adds a camp run by the Bard's College outside Deadman's Respite, upon completing the Tending the Flames quest. The dungeon is now repeatable, with the bards asking you to clear it out for them so they can continue their research. To be honest, the main reason for this mod is the immersion and set dressing. The camp looks cool and features 2 new fully voiced bards with backstories and research journals lying around to help make the significance of this location clear instead of it feeling like just another dungeon for you to loot. Next, I have a selection of mods which are going to improve the experience of playing to a crowd in a city or a tavern, starting with Skyrim's Got Talent. This mod features a bard skill stat which will affect how well you play, improving over time as you get more practice in. At lower skill levels, you're going to receive insults from the crowd.
Your music's bad and you should feel bad.
And as you become better, you're going to start receiving applause. People will crowd around to listen, and you may even get some gold. You can also find books around containing new songs to add to your collection, and play them in the world. Some buffs and debuffs are built into the mod, which can apply after especially good or bad performances. The main effect they have is reducing your skill progression for a short period, to help break up the experience a bit in an organic way, so you're less inclined to just grind your way to max level all in one go. The extra effect gives a great ambience to performing, and truly there is nothing better than hearing the praise of your adoring fans while you play endless tunes for their amusement. Well, most of the time.
God help us! What's all the commotion? Somebody do something!
I guess you guys aren't ready for that yet.
This mod alone does so much to make performing in public feel more immersive. And to make it even better, we have B's extra NPCs, which will add more NPCs around to listen to you while you play. We also have immersive interactions, which adds in a bunch of animations for both the player character, as well as the NPCs, to make the world of Skyrim feel more alive. In particular, I've added this mod because it causes NPCs to applaud and dance whenever bards perform, making the experience of busking feel less like you're just being ignored. It also adds smaller immersive things like opening doors, drinking potions, and handing gold over to vendors. Next, we have a music mod which is going to overhaul the tracks used in the game, using a variety of royalty-free songs that give a new flavour to travelling the world. Because these songs are royalty-free, I was able to play them over the background of this video, so you can get a sense of the sort of atmosphere that they helped to create. But here are a couple of other samples that appear in the mod. Something I wanted to focus on with this pack is the actual combat experience of being a bard. And to do that, we have Treebalance, which is going to overhaul the speech tree, adding in a yield system that can be used to intimidate opponents into surrendering or fleeing. To go with this, we have Thunderchild, which helps you improve your speechcraft, but in a different way, by adding tons more shouts into the game and completely overhauling how learning them works. I think it makes sense that a bard is going to be the sort of character that would take to using the dragon language extremely quickly. In fact, becoming the Dovahkiin and learning to use your words to physically affect the world around you kind of feels like the final form of the bard, capable of great impact using only your voice. Then we have the Immersive Follower Framework and Overhaul, which is going to improve the AI of followers and give you more options regarding their equipment and fighting style. It also allows you to bring up to 3 followers at once, so you can build a full party to adventure with. Moving on, I have some actual gear for our character to help create the bard aesthetic. There are loads of options available, and honestly, they're all pretty good in lots of different ways, but they are also usually similar stats to each other. So we're just going to be bringing the one set, which will be the Manticore Armour Redux. It's fully craftable and features some built-in bandoliers and straps that can be modified to create the exact look you're after. An honourable mention I have is Armoured Clothes, which allows you to create light armour versions of the vanilla clothing, so you can have the look of a bard while still being protected in combat. To go with our armour, we have the Heresy Silver Rapier mod, which, as you might have guessed, is going to add in a new weapon for us to use. It goes really well with the swashbuckler style of the armour, and suits a bard perfectly. We also have Convenient Crossbows, which allows you to craft crossbows without joining the Dawnguard. And finally, we have Melee String Instruments, which lets you use musical instruments as melee weapons, because why wouldn't you want to do that? I really like the idea of a bard using their instruments in weird and creative ways in combat. It helps make the character feel much more unique when doing standard dungeon delving and stuff you need to do as an adventurer. Next, we have mods to expand the cultural and historical side of being a bard, starting with Dragon Wall Wisdom, which allows you to interact with dragon word walls to read a translated version of the text, which makes exploring Nordic ruins much more interesting. Then we have Buyable Paintings, which lets you purchase artworks to decorate your house to reflect your sophisticated tastes properly. Whether it be a portrait of some fantastic mythical creature, or something a bit more natural. Naturally, with this character being centred around culture and lore, I have a couple of mods focused around books. Starting with BC's Lost Library, which adds in 150 extra books, mainly from older Elder Scrolls titles, to help fill out your house's bookshelves with cool new designs. We also have Scholarship of Skyrim, which allows you to write your own thesis on a topic to expand and demonstrate your character's knowledge of the lore of the world of Skyrim. And in a similar vein, we have Bards Reborn Bardic Lore Book Crafting, which is an expansion of the Bards Reborn mod, which allows you to craft extra books to add to your collection. Some of the books you can make even give you special spell songs, giving extra effects in combat, like the Song of Healing or the Song of Peace, letting you distract enemies with your words and music before unleashing a flurry of attacks. With bards being so closely linked with taverns, I have some quest and location mods to add to that aspect a little. Starting with the Carpathian Inn, which has you help a pair of vampires rebuild and run an inn just outside of Windhelm. The story has some silly jokes around, like the general interactions with the NPCs.
You can't see me. You're dreaming. Oh, forget it.
And being able to find things like this body labelled Health Inspector. And the inn itself has a whole bunch of upgrades for you to make to it, kitting out guest rooms with furniture, hiring staff, and furnishing the entire top floor to use as a player home. To go with this, we have Honeystrand Meadery, which is a similar sort of thing, but this time with a meadery near Iverstead, allowing you to brew a variety of ales and wines, and have them shipped across all of Skyrim. This just feels like a natural addition for a bard that's going to be travelling throughout the holds anyway. You can perform to crowds to drum up interest in your products, or give ale to patrons to turn even quiet taverns into more energetic mead halls. Finally, I have some mods that are going to change the visuals a little bit. I have another video which focuses more on this, but here are a couple of mods you should bring to redesign key elements that you'll run into when playing as a bard. First of all is Riton and Stony AF Markarth, which overhauls the textures of the 5 largest cities to make them look a bit cleaner. We also have Whiterun, the City of Trees Lite, Kato's Whiterun, Solitude Remake, and Solitude Statuary, which add new decorations, giving the cities a bit more culture. Then we have Modified City Inns and InnCredible, which is going to redesign all the taverns in the games, adding ovens to the major city taverns and more unique decorations and layouts to stop all of them from blending together. To make the journey between cities feel more interesting, we're going to be using Northern Roads, which makes the roads look nicer and adds some cool pieces of decoration along the way, along with Fantasia landscapes and Luxorient, which will retexture the wilderness to appear more magical and high fantasy-esque. We also have Raleig's Instruments Blue Lute, which retextures the musical instruments and changes the lute to a new blue variant. Then there's Realistic Armour Overhaul to make some of the lower tier armours look nicer, and it redesigns the hold shield to look better and more Nordic. We also have Vera Levi, which is going to overhaul the player animations to make them a bit more energetic and much smoother. Looking at the interface, we're going to be using HQ Perk Interface to make the skills screen look a bit nicer, and Skyhood Oblivion preset to rearrange the heads-up display. Finally, we have TES Legends loading screens, and Oblivion-like loading screens Paper Edition, to give the loading screens much cooler artwork and fit the scholarly feeling that I wanted for this character. And those are all the mods I have for you. The load order is in the description, along with a Nexus link, and you can click the link on screen if you want to see the video containing all of the visual mods that I used with this character and haven't covered here. Due to popular demand, and the occasional threat, my next mod pack will be centered around Skyrim mods for PlayStation. So subscribe if you want to see that, and comment any other mod packs that you might want to see in the future.